Hello all, welcome to this session. In this session, I am going to answer one of the Java interview questions. That is, write a Java program to demonstrate creating a method. Let me answer this question with practical demonstration. Before I practically demonstrate, let me explain something about these methods in Java programs. So in Java, all the code will be written inside some entity known as a class. Class will enclose all the code. So what are the two major members that can be written inside the code as a programming or whatever it is you call? Inside the class, the main two members are nothing but the variables and the other one is a method. Okay, into the variables, we store the data. Okay, why we have to use variables inside the classes in Java programming? For storing the data. Then what about methods? Inside the methods, we write the programming logic. Okay, the code will be written inside the methods, whereas the logical code will be written inside the methods, whereas the data will be stored into the variables. That's the main high level purpose of the methods and variables inside a class in Java. Okay, that's good. But why methods are to be created? Why methods need to be created? To reusable purpose. Methods have a very good advantage in Java programming, guys. Okay, by writing the logic inside a method and calling that method any number of times, you are reusing the same code. That's the main advantage of the methods, guys. Apart from the actual purpose of the methods is to store the logic in Java. In methods, we'll write the programming logic. But ultimate purpose is that we can use this method. We can call these methods any number of times. Any number of times. Okay. So if you have to call the same, you have to write the same code multiple times. Instead of writing that code multiple times, you create a separate method and call the method whenever that is required. How many times? 100 times it is required, you can call the method, guys. I'm going to show you that, okay? In the program, I'm going to show you that how by creating a method, we can save a lot of lines of code. I'm going to show you practically in this session. I'll first start with creating a method, guys, okay? And writing some code, logical code inside the method. So how to create a method, I'll show you. How to create parameterized methods, I'll show you. Okay. So there are multiple type of methods like normal methods, which doesn't intake any data. So they will not have any parameters. There will be some methods where they will intake the data with the help of parameters. Okay. Or there may be some methods which will not intake anything but return something. Or there will be some methods which will intake the data and return the data back to the method calling statement. All these things I'm going to cover you. So this session is all about, even though the question is very simple, write a Java program to demonstrate creating a method, but I'll try to explain all the angles of the method in this session because in real time, when you are attending the interview, if you get this kind of question, don't just give simple answers, okay? Try to explain as much as possible that you know about the methods. That's the main thing that I want to demonstrate here as practical demonstration. For that reasons, I'll switch to Eclipse IDE and create a new class, guys. I'll name this class as class 36. Let's say class 36, I'll say. With main method, I'll create, and inside the main method, I'm going to create okay, I'm not going to write any logic inside this main method, but I'm going to create one more method. Before creating a method, what is the purpose? What is the need of creating a method? I'll tell you. For example, here I'll say int a is equal to 5, comma b is equal to 4. Okay. Now, int sum is equal to a plus b, I'll write. Okay. Now system.out.println. Okay. I'll write the code like this. Sum of a, sum of this plus a and plus b is colon is what is the sum? This sum I have to print it out, right? Plus sum I'll say. Okay. So this is a very simple program. Let me run the program. If the values of a and b are 5 and 4, you see, what will be the output? Output will be sum of 5 and 4 is 9 will be the output. That's correctly coming. Sum of 5 and 4 is 9 is coming perfectly fine. So, but here guys, okay, but here I'm summing only one time. What if I have to do the same sum multiple times? What if I have to do the same sum multiple times? For example, you have other set of code like this. You see, int b is equal, int c is equal to 8, d is equal to, okay, 11. D is equal to 11 like this. Okay. Again, int, again, sum is equal to C plus D. I want to write C plus D. Now system.out.println, system.out.println, sum of, again, plus C, I have to print like this, plus C plus C and C and plus D is colon again plus sum I have to write plus sum. Like this, I'll write one more statement. This time what will happen? It will print the sum of A and B. Sum of 5 and 4 is the total sum, that is 5 plus 4, 9 will be coming. Again, I am trying to sum other two variables, that is 8 and 11. 8 plus 11 is 19. Sum of 8 and 11 is 19 will be printed in the output. You see two statements will come in here. Sum of 5 and 4 is 9. Sum of 8 and 11 is 19. I'll copy paste this one. I don't want to waste the time. If I want to do this sum of multiple variables multiple times in the program, can you see the problem here? Okay, let's say EF. I'll just change the variables here. I'll say E, F. E is like, 2 and F is like, let's say 5. So E plus F, I'll say the sum value. Sum of E and F is sum. That is 2 plus 5, 7 will be printed here. Sum of 2 and 5, 7 will be printed here. GH, I'll say GH. And here I'll say G and H. And here I'll write down sum of G and H is sum. Okay. Here I'll give some different values. Let's say 5 and here I'll say 3. 5 plus 3, 8 will be printed. Sum of 5 and 8 is sum of 5 and 3 is 8 will be printed. That's okay. But here you can clearly see that this main method is again a method only. Okay. This is one of the method. Okay. One of the method that Java program will start executing from. Okay. This is a method only. Public static void is nothing but a method. Okay. It's nothing but a method. But I want to create another method. There is a reason why I want to create another method. So inside the methods, we write the programming logic, the logic, okay, to calculate the sum of the numbers and all. We have written the logic inside the main method, okay. So inside the class, we have two entities. One is variables and methods. Variables are required to store the data, whereas the methods will store the programming logic. This kind of programming logic will be written inside the methods. But the problem with this particular method is, I'm repeating this code, you see, the data is changing, but the logic is same. 4 times I have written the same logic. Instead of writing the same logic 4 times, and write public void, public static void, calculate sum. That's it. Calculate sum. Instead of writing the logic that many number of times, I'll simply say int number 1, comma int number 2. Okay, n1, n2 is number 1, number 2. And here, instead of doing like this, what I'll do, I'll write the logic here. Okay, int sum is equal to the same logic I'll write here. Int sum is equal to n1 plus n2. N1 plus N2, and here system.out.println, I'll write the code like this. Okay, sum of plus N1 and plus N2 is colon plus sum. Like this, I'll want to print it out. That's it. Okay, that's what I want to do, guys. So do I have to write all this logic? No, these statements are not required. So in order to calculate this, already declarations are being done, sum is being done, printing is also being done. What I have to do, instead of writing the statements, I have to call this method from the main method, saying calculate sum of A comma B. That's it. You don't have to create these variables and all. Calculate A comma B. A is that is 5 comma 4. Let's say calculate 5 comma 4. Calculate 5 comma 4. Instead of giving the variables, you are passing the data here. 5 will go into this N1 and 4 will go into N2. 5 plus 4 will become 9. It will go into sum. Sum of 5 and 4 is 9 will be printed. Okay. Again, these statements are not required. Simply say calculate sum. You call this method. You can call, this is a method calling statement, guys. This is a reusable method where you have written the actual logic. Okay. This is the need of the methods, guys. So whenever you get this kind of questions, right, don't simply answer. Try to explain why the methods are there. What is the purpose of the methods? How the methods will look like? What is the real reason for creating the methods? Okay, we generally, apart from the main method, if you have to create a method, that is for reusableness only. Okay, for reusable purpose, we have to do that. Here 8 comma 11 you pass. Okay, 8 comma 11, you don't have to write this line. You see just how many lines I'll complete this code. You see earlier this many lines I used to write. Now you see this many lines are not required. Again say calculate sum of 2 comma 5. That's it. 2 comma 5. The result will come, guys. Same result will come. You see, I'll just remove this line. Okay, and finally calculate sum of, copy this statement and write down here and pass 5 comma 3. That's it. And these lines are not required at all. Okay, these lines are not required at all. Now run the code, you will get the same output, guys. Sum of 5 and 4 is 9. Sum of 8 and 11 is 19. Sum of 2 and 5 is 7. You see how simplified we made the code. This is what is the reusabilityness of the methods, guys. Okay, when you create, this is how the methods need to be created. Okay, why I created this method with static keyword, because main method if it want to directly call the method. Okay, since main method is static type, static methods can directly access the static stuff. I don't have to create the object to call this method. So if this particular method is not static, if it's not specified, then I have to create an object for the class, and using the object reference, I have to call this method. Why to make the things complicated? I thought, like, let's make this particular method static, public static void, name of the method, and circular brackets. In that parameters you can provide, declare the parameters, and inside that you write the logic, whatever the logic you want. And you can call this method. This is called the method calling statement. Okay. So that's the reason, guys, no matter how many times you call the method with the different arguments, the result is coming here. Okay. And this method has two parameters. For example, if I create one more method, that is public static void welcome user. And here I'll say string name. Okay. So here system.out, whenever you call this method, it has to welcome the user. Okay. Welcome plus welcome name. Okay. That's it. Okay. So here I will call this method. It has one parameter, guys. It has one parameter. You see, earlier it has two parameters. Now it has only one parameter. Like this, write it out and print, give some name like Arun or something. And when this particular method is called, what will happen? You call this method and pass Arun here. Welcome Arun will be printed in the output. Okay. Welcome Arun will be printed in the output. Okay. So here two parameters are there. Here one parameter is there. If I create one more method here, public static void say hello. Say hello, that's it. Nothing but when you call this method, it don't intake any data, guys, but it will just say hello. Hi there. Hi there. It will simply say hi. Okay. Hi there. Like this, it will say, okay, hi there. Okay. Whenever you call this method, it will simply say hi there. Okay. So call that method, say hello. Just call this method, say hello here. Don't have to pass anything. Whenever you call this method, it will say hi there. Okay. Just run the code and see that it will call hi there. Okay. Hi there. Okay. Hi there will be printed. Okay. So here, this particular method is not intaking any data. Okay. What if a particular method is there? It will return some data back to you. I'll create one more method here, public static void. Okay. Public static void calculate multiplication. Okay. Multiply numbers. Okay. Here I want to return the result. Okay. What are the numbers I want to multiply? Here I'll take some two numbers, number 1 comma number 2, whatever you want to give, you can give here two parameters. And here I'll say return, or you can say int result is equal to n1 multiplied by n2. You can write in any way, return result. If you use the return keyword inside the method, you see the methods can have return type. If they don't return anything, if the methods doesn't return anything, the return type should be mentioned as void. If a particular method has to return something, the return type should be the type of that particular thing, data that you are returning back to the calling statement. Here result is int type. We are returning the result. So here return type should not be void, it should be int. Okay. So I'll call this method, guys, multiply numbers method here. And I'll say 3 comma 6. I'll say. Now, will I get any result printed here in the output? No result will be printed, guys, even though we are calling the method. Up to high there will come, but you see, multiplication is nothing is coming because this particular method is just returning the multiplication of that 3 and 6. 18 result is going back to the method calling statement, but method calling statement is not doing anything with that returning. Okay, it is getting some return type as in, for example, say hello. If you hold the mouse on say hello, void, return type is nothing will be returned. Just call it. Okay, nothing will be written. Calculate sum. If you go to the calculate sum, nothing is getting written. But for the multiply number, return type is int. So we can capture here int result is equal to multiplication result is equal to system.out.println multiplication result. Multiplication of 3 and 6 is okay plus result. I'll say plus result like this. I'll write the code. Now run the code here. This particular method, when it is called multiply numbers, 3 and 6 will be passed as input to this particular method. There are parameters. These are called as arguments. This is a method calling statement, and this is a method. And the operation will be done here. The multiplication operation, that 3, 6, 18 result. It will return the result to the method calling statement, and that result will store into the result You can give R or whatever you want, and you can say R here. That's okay. You can give anything. Okay, for making it more readable, I have written result or something. Multiplication result you can write whatever that variable you have created, that print it out. Okay, sum of 3 and 6 is 18 will be printed here. Now just see here, this particular method is not only intaking the data but also returning the result. Okay, multiplication of 3 and 6 is 18. Okay, so like this guys, a lot of methods I created in this session, like this kind of methods which intake the data and which will return something back. There is a method which will not intake anything, will not return anything. There are some methods which intake something and doesn't return anything. There are some methods which will intake only one data instead of multiple data and doesn't return anything. Okay, there are different combinations will be there. Different combinations will be there, guys. So I have given a lot of examples for the methods, and you can call the same method multiple times. Say, let's say you call the say hello method multiple times like this. It's also okay, guys. Run this code. The same method will be called that many number of times. Hi there will be printed 4 times because that method is being called that many times. So with these examples, hope guys, it is very clear for you like how to create the methods. So these are the different ways in which you can create the methods, guys. Okay, so I'll try to make this code fit in the editor so that you can take a screenshot of the entire thing. Still have to go low. Okay, so this is the entire code, guys. You can take a screenshot of this code. If you want to practice creating methods, you can take the screenshot of this code, guys. This is how the methods will look like in Java. Hope you have taken the screenshot. So, hope guys, you got the answer for this question with practical demonstration. Write a Java program to demonstrate creating a method. We can create normal methods which doesn't intake anything. We can create a method which can take intake data, and we can create some method which can intake data and doesn't return anything. We can create a method which will intake data in the form of parameters and return something. And we can call the same method multiple times. There will be main method is also a method, guys. Main method is also a method, whatever the method. This is also a method, example for a method only. But out of all these methods, JVM, which is actually running this Java code, will only identify the main method, guys. Okay, only main method will be identified. If main method is not there, you cannot run the program. The execution will start from the main method, and this method calling statements will call these methods. And you know why we have to create methods, right? The main purpose is to overcome the to gain the reusability. For example, in case of calculate sum, how drastically I reduce the number of lines of the code. Okay, instead of writing multiple times this code, okay, I created a reusable method and then call this method any number of times, okay, with different type of data. So that's the main purpose of the methods, guys. That's the main purpose of the methods. So hope guys you have taken the screenshot. So with practical demonstration and with the in detailed explanation, I've answered this question for you regarding the methods. So that's all for this session. Okay, thank you. Bye bye.